Welcome back, everyone. Today we're taking a deep dive into a really powerful message from the Beyond the Amen podcast.
Yeah. This one's called They Had Faith and Still Faced Fire.
And it's so relevant, isn't it? Especially if you're listening and maybe walking through something difficult right now.
Absolutely. Because let's be honest, a lot of us, maybe most of us listening, we can probably relate to facing some kind of fire, those tough situations that just seem to test everything.
Mm-hmm. And this Beyond the Amen message, it just dives right into that. The core idea, really, is that going through hard times doesn't mean your faith isn't real. Actually, it's often the place where faith gets forged, where it gets shown for what it is.
Yeah, where it gets real. They started with this great quote, too. Real faith isn't proven on the podium. It's forged over hurdles, in the fire, and under pressure.
That's good.
God doesn't just show up at the finish line. He runs with you through every storm. And that just perfectly sets up what this whole discussion is about. It really does.
Yeah.
Because it cuts right through that common misconception, that idea that if you have enough faith, life should be smooth sailing.
Right, trouble-free.
Yeah. And the Bible just doesn't paint that picture, does it? The Beyond the Amen folks really highlighted that contrast.
Okay, so let's get into their first main point. They called it, faith doesn't cancel fire. What's the heart of that?
Well, basically it's saying faith isn't like a get-out-of-jail-free card for life's problems. It's not a shield that stops everything bad from happening.
It's more like the anchor.
Exactly. It's the anchor that holds you steady while the storm is raging. It sustains you through it.
And they use that incredible story from Daniel, right? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Oh, yeah. Daniel chapter 3. Their response to Nebuchadnezzar when he threatened them with the fiery furnace.
Oh, wow. It gives you chills, doesn't it? They said, basically, if we get thrown in, our God can save us.
But even if he does not, and that's the key part, isn't it? Even if he does not, we want you to know, Your Majesty, we will not serve your gods.
That even if, it's just profound. Their faith wasn't banking on a specific outcome, like God must rescue us now.
No, it was this deep, unwavering trust in who God is, no matter what happened, his character, his sovereignty.
So the message for you listening is, if you're feeling the heat right now, maybe it's financial stress or grief, rejection, maybe things just aren't happening the way you prayed. Remember those three guys. The fire doesn't mean God's gone.
That's such a vital truth. And it kind of leads right into their next point, doesn't it?
Right.
God shows up after the setup.
Yeah, talk about that. What's the idea there?
Well, it explores this pattern we often see, where God's biggest interventions seem to happen right when our solutions have completely run out.
When we're backed into a corner.
Exactly. When we have literally nothing left but to depend on him. That's often when he shows up in, these amazing ways.
And the example they used was the parting of the Red Sea, Exodus 14.
Perfect example. I mean, picture it. The sea in front of them, Pharaoh's army closing in behind.
Trapped. Totally trapped. From a human perspective, zero options left.
Right. And the miracle, the sea parting, it didn't happen while they were still miles away, safe. It happened right there, at the edge of the water.
At the point of maximum pressure.
Maximum pressure, absolute desperation. That's when the impossible happened.
Yeah.
And the connection for us today is, well, it's pretty direct.
Yeah, those moments. Maybe it's a sudden layoff, a relationship ending unexpectedly, a scary diagnosis.
Yeah.
You feel cornered.
Totally. But the Beyond the Amen insight is, try to reframe that pressure. It might not be punishment. It might actually be the setup for God's deliverance in your life, the necessary stage.
That's a powerful reframe. It shifts how you see those really hard times. Okay, so then their third segment was, the storm reveals what's already inside. What are they getting at here?
This one looks at how it challenges those storms. They kind of act like a test. You know, they reveal the real nature of our faith, what's actually in there. How strong is it?
What comes out when you're squeezed?
Exactly. And they pointed to Peter walking on the water, Matthew 14.
Right. He actually did it. He got out of the boat in the middle of the storm.
He did, which is incredible faith right there. But the crucial moment the episode highlights is when he took his eyes off Jesus.
And looked at the wind and the waves?
Yeah. He focused on the storm around him, the chaos. And that's when fear just swamped his faith and he started to sink.
So the lesson isn't that faith means zero fear.
Not at all. It's more about, where do you put your focus? What do you do despite the fear? It's choosing to trust the one who's constant, even when everything else feels like it's falling apart.
That's really practical. And they connected it to real life stuff, right? Like starting a business when it feels risky.
Or leaving a bad situation, even though it's scary. Or learning to trust again after you've been hurt badly.
Yeah. All those times you have to step out, even when things feel uncertain. Stepping out into the chaos with faith.
Mm-hmm. Then they move to this really deep idea in the fourth segment. Resurrection often requires burial. Wow, that's potent imagery.
It really is. What's the core truth behind that?
It's this idea that sometimes endings are necessary. Setbacks. Things that feel like a kind of death. They have to happen before something new, maybe even something miraculous, can come to life.
Like clearing the ground before you can build something new.
Sort of, yeah. Something has to be let go of or seem completely lost to make space for God's new work. And the story they used, of course, was Lazarus.
John chapter 11. Such a powerful account.
And think about the details they emphasized. Lazarus wasn't just sick. He was dead.
For 4 days. Buried. Wrapped in grave clothes.
I mean, it couldn't look more final, could it?
Yeah.
And the episode highlights Mary and Martha's grief, their disappointment. They even said to Jesus, "Lord, if you had only been here."
Yeah, our brother wouldn't have died. From their view, it was over. Too late.
Exactly. So the point is, just because a situation looks dead and buried, totally beyond hope, that doesn't mean God's done with it.
It might even be the prelude.
It could be. And Beyond the Amen really brought that home for us today. You know, those dreams you had that feel like they died, that sense of purpose that seems lost or buried under disappointment.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the end of the story. God can still speak life into those situations. He still does resurrection work.
That is so hopeful. Which brings us, I guess, to their final segment, tying it all together. God's presence is the promise, not just the outcome. And they went back to Psalm 34.19.
Yeah, that theme verse. Many are the afflictions of the righteous. And they really stress that first part. The righteous, those trying to follow God, they will face afflictions. It's not an if, it's a when.
It says many, not few or none.
Right, but then comes the promise. But the Lord delivers him out of them all. The promise isn't that you'll avoid trouble.
It's that he'll deliver you out of it or through it.
Precisely. It's about his intervention, his rescue in the midst of it all. And they back this up with that incredible verse from Isaiah 43.
Oh, verse 2. That's a powerful one.
Isn't it? When you go through deep waters, I will be with you. When you walk through the fire of oppression, you will not be burned up. The flames will not consume you.
The promise isn't you won't go through the water or you won't walk through the fire.
No, it's I will be with you when you do. That's the ultimate promise, his presence. Right there in the middle of whatever it is you're facing.
Yeah, that distinction is everything, isn't it? It's not about escaping the difficulty, but knowing, truly knowing you're not alone in it. God is right there.
Mm-hmm. And that led into their final thoughts.
Yeah.
It felt like such a direct encouragement to anyone listening who's in that hard place right now.
Yeah, maybe battling something with your health or in your mind, struggling at home.
Whatever that fire looks like for you, the big message was, don't give up. Please, don't lose heart.
Because this, right here, this tough spot, this is often where faith stops being just theory and becomes real, tangible, strong.
It's where we often feel God's presence most intensely, paradoxically. And they gave those crucial reminders. Facing fire doesn't mean you're a failure.
Being in a storm doesn't mean you're going to sink.
Experiencing delay doesn't mean you've been denied or forgotten by God.
And the bottom line, that simple, powerful truth, God is still with you.
Always. Through everything.
Absolutely everything. They also had a great call to action, didn't they?
Yeah, really practical stuff. Like, take some time to think about the specific fire you're facing and consciously ask, how can I trust God more in this right now?
Actively leaning in, even when it's hard.
Exactly. And they suggested reading Hebrews 11, the Hall of Faith.
Right.
But read it looking not just for the triumphs, but also noticing the immense challenges and hardships those people have faced endured. It's a good reality check.
Yeah, even the heroes faced fire. That's comforting, actually.
It is. And they also encourage sharing this message. If you know someone going through it, maybe pass this along. Just knowing someone cares can mean so much.
And connecting online, too, with #FaithInTheFire.
Mm-hmm. And finally, they closed with a prayer, asking God to just remind you constantly of his presence when you're struggling.
Asking for strength for your faith right in the middle of the difficulty.
And for that deeper trust in his presence, his plan, even when it makes absolutely no sense from our perspective.
Yeah, trusting him over our own understanding. That's the core of it.
It really is. It's a reminder that his strength is there, especially when we feel weak.
Well, thank you for diving deep with us into this incredibly encouraging message from the Beyond the Amen podcast. They had faith and still faced fire. It's been really good to unpack
It
this.
really has. So much hope there.
Until next time, remember, don't just say it, live it.
Thanks for listening to the Beyond the Amen podcast.